Hi everyone, let's talk about Coffee Roaster, and this is a really good solo game. I really like, for a start, the amount of variability in it. There's a lot of coffee cards. I was surprised when I first opened the little wallet that they come in, which I can't seem to see right now. There's a ton of different coffee cards in there for you to make the game different every time. I love the little, it's such a simple thing, but the little decision tree at the end of it. Did you score this many points in round one? Then go beginner, advanced, or expert in round two, and the same for round three. So your performance kind of affects the beans that you're allowed to do. I'm sure you could, if you really want to, just go for whatever level you like. There's the expert specialty beans that I didn't even try yet. If you saw my performance in the playthrough, I definitely need some improvement, probably with the different boards. That's another thing that I mentioned at the end of the playthrough. The boards are both double-sided and give kind of not huge things, but definitely more options if you'd like an easier game. So there's the tray where you can put as you're putting things into your cup, then you've got some options to say no, that can go on the tray instead. There's more spaces on the tray on the easier board, and there's an extra action space on the action board for the easier level. That's a nice little bit of variability into it. And I like how not only are there all these different beans and all these different setups and ways of scoring in them, they all seem to be tied to the description of the bean. So when it's a very hard bean, it's full of the hard bean tokens, and you're going to have to roast it for longer. A lot of these that need long roast times have either got a lot of reject beans in there, a lot of hard beans, and they're really going to cloud you being able to actually get your score out in the cup test. Now I can see Coffee Roaster has got a lot of things going for it. It's got some interesting decisions when usually you won't be in a position where all you're doing is leveling up the beans. Maybe at the start, but as you get on and start refining your bag, then you'll be able to draw the different flavor tokens and have options to be able to do the different actions. And that gives you a lot of options. There's not too many action spaces on there, and they're one use for the most part. But there's still a ton of decision making to be done when deciding what you're going to do, especially because you want to keep the flavor tokens for the bonus at the end to increase your chances of being able to draw one. But as you saw, I think in the second stage of the playthrough, I drew way too many, and it was a waste having them all in there. But there's not only the little actions you can take, but when you can split the beans or join the beans, you don't know when to do that and what's the right time to do it, which are the right beans to do it. Sometimes it's made that your mind's made up for you when it's the rounds when everything's going to level up by 2 and maybe you've got some 3s and 4s out. You need to stop them burning because usually there's already enough bad stuff in your cup without you making mistakes and adding to it. So sometimes it makes sense to just halt them by using acidity or something like that. But there's always a really nice amount of decisions to be made in most of your turns, and usually it's either in the beginning that you've kind of stuck with your choice, or maybe like me, you've made some bad decisions and your cup isn't as refined as it should be at the stage of the game. I also love the fact that at any point after any round you can decide to stop and go to the cup test, so that adds another level of, should I just go for one more? If I go for one more, then it's going to add way more smoke in there, and that's going to ruin the great stage I've got in my cup too. But sometimes you need those rounds. You need more rounds to be able to either boost your roast count so that you can draw the number you need, and the numbers for the last coffees get a lot higher, or you need it to just be able to refine your cup more. You haven't got that many ways. You've got 2 action spaces that get rid of the bad things from your cup, and you need to use them at the best time possible. I probably should have waited in that last round to get rid of things, but it seemed good at the time. It seemed like I was getting rid of a lot, but as always in games like this, that you'll do an action and then you'll draw things from the cup later and realise, oh, I should have done it this turn. And I think I probably should have gone a bit longer in those first 2 rounds as well. I'm just always scared of it. I don't want to put more smoke in my cup, but you probably should to be able to do better things in those rounds. You'll be drawing a ton of tokens and be having a ton of choice. if you just take the risk and go for the put 3 more smoke in the cup and things are going to level up twice again. And sometimes that can be a bad thing because you might have used all of your flavor tokens early on, so you haven't really got the freedom to be able to halt things or split things to stop them burning. And in that case, you would want to stop because you don't want to end up with a cup full of burnt tokens because they're all -1 point at the end of each round. It's really simple to pick up and start playing. I know the playthrough went a little bit long there for what it is, but in my experience, it is definitely a 30-minute game. The setup is just basically separate all the tokens again and pick your bean and get started. There really isn't like a lot of fiddliness in the game, and it's one that really is tempting to keep playing again and try and figure out where I'm going wrong, which I'm sure will be obvious when I've made some terrible decision on camera and not noticed. But I think Coffee Roaster is a really fun solo game, and even though it's one player, the first time we played it kind of co-op, where, well, any solo game can be co-op really, where you're just really making the decisions together, and it was fun trying to explore what the idea was and what path we were supposed to take. That was fun doing that together as well, so it doesn't necessarily have to be solo, but as a solo game as well, it is fantastic. And this is going to be out at Essen this year, 2016. And you can also order it from Taiwan Board Game Design. It's from Big Fun Games and Homo Sapiens Lab. And I don't know if it will be available in shops, so this is probably the best way to get it, but I really recommend Coffee Roaster. And thanks for watching, everyone, and I'll see you for the next game. Bye.